I'm Bob, and welcome to Between the Sheets, where we look at Microsoft Excel and related technologies. A feature Excel has had for a while in both the Windows and Mac editions is that it can change the formatting of cells when their values change. The feature is called Conditional Formatting, and you can use it to highlight numbers if they go above or below a certain amount or in a particular range, for example. Some formatting rules are automatic, and you can apply them with just a click. And you can also create custom rules. So let's take a look and see how it works. I have a worksheet here that has a whole lot of products listed, and you can see this is over a period of 6 months. So there's a lot of data here, and it's hard to make sense of whether there are any particular products or any particular months that are doing well or doing poorly. It's just a big mass of data. So this is where conditional formatting is going to come into play. Now, before doing conditional formatting, something that you might want to do, though it's not required, is just to apply a range name if you're going to be reselecting the cells over and over. It's just going to make life a lot easier. So I'm going to click that first a number there, scroll down. I'm going to hold the Shift key and click that last one. So I now have this whole range selected. And now I'm going to click on the name box and I'm going to call it data. You can call it anything you want, but that's just going to make life a lot easier. Now let's do conditional formatting. So I'm on the Home tab of the ribbon bar, and kind of in the middle here is this Styles section, and there is conditional formatting. So I'm going to click that, and you see there's 3 sections, and I want to start with the middle section. See, it says data bars, and this help is really hard to get rid of. It's very unhelpful because it's always getting in the way. So you see there's gradient fills and solid fills. So let me just roll the mouse over and you get a preview. So you can see what this is doing is this is showing smaller numbers have shorter bars, higher numbers have longer bars, and there's a nice gradient. And this kind of makes sense doing it in green because this is revenue. If this were expenses, you might use something like this, which is red, and this is going to show you the same thing. So we have all these different colors. Now, I'm doing this on a Windows machine. If you do this on a Mac, the Mac will not show you previews. For some reason, you have to go and click on the Mac to get that first. In the solid fill section, it's the same thing. It's the same colors, but these are solid. They are not gradients. Okay, so that's just one thing. And if I wanted one of these, all I have to do is just click it and there it is. But let's go on. Let me go here to color scales. Now with color scales, rather than bars, it fills the entire cell. Now some of these are just hideous. I don't know who designed this, but there's a few others that are nice. Like this one here, you can see that the smaller numbers are dark red. The smaller they are, the darker the red. The bigger they are, the darker the green. And then kind of shaded colors and light in between. And there's a few different ways of doing that. Or this is kind of patriotic. So you could have multiple colors there, red, white, blue, whatever. So here's some monochromatic. Again, this particular color scheme would make sense if these were expenses. This one over here makes great sense for dealing with revenue. Also, you could see that smaller numbers get lighter and lighter. Medium numbers are kind of a mid 50% shade, and the really high numbers are dark green. So also, I'm not clicking, I'm just rolling the mouse over to get a preview. And if you want it, all you have to do is click. The third item here in the middle section is icons. And you see when you roll your mouse over some of these, still trying to get rid of that help, it puts different icons like, traffic lights and all that. Personally, I find this makes the numbers even more cluttered than not. But if you like them, you have them, like cell phone bars here and stars and everything. If this were up to me, I would put in like smiling cat faces and crying cat faces, but that feature is not available yet. So those are some real nice automatic ways of doing it. Now let me show you how you could actually kind of customize this a little bit. Let's go up to the top. You see where it says highlight cell rules. And this is all comparisons. So I'm going to choose the first one, greater than. I'm just going to click that. And maybe I want to find cells that are greater than 800 and I want them to be green. So I'm just going to click this little drop down. I'm going to choose green fill with dark green text. I'm going to click OK. Now I could just click somewhere to deselect. So I could see here that any item that is greater than 800 is now highlighted in green. Now, maybe I want to look at numbers that are, say, 900 or greater. So this is formatting, which means just like any other formatting you deal with, you have to select first and then apply formatting. It also means that if you want to remove formatting, you have to actually go and do it. This is why I created the range name. So I'm going to go up here to the name box, select that data. Now, why did I do that? Because when you go up to conditional formatting, if I want to remove the formatting, I kind of have two choices. I'm going to go down here to clear rules, and I can clear rules from selected cells. Now, before I do that, you notice it says clear rules from entire sheet. That means I did not really have to select all of these cells to remove the formatting. So either one of these options, I can choose to remove the formatting, but I would have to select this anyway to apply new formatting. So I'm going to go back to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, greater than. This time I'm going to make it 900, and I want to fill that with green. Click OK, and you see there are fewer cells that are selected. But here's what's really cool, is you can apply multiple formats, just like these column headers, right? There's font face and font color and size and alignment and background, right? Those are like 5 different formats that are applied. You could do the same thing with conditional formatting. So once again, I'm going to go back up to the name box. I'm going to choose data and go back to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, and instead of greater than, I'm going to choose less than. And I want to find all of the numbers that are, let's say, less than, 150. So I will make that 150, fill that with red, click OK. So now I can see in the same sheet those that are the highest sellers and those that are the lowest sellers. So I can really compare and look and see, okay, which are good sellers that I'm going to keep. Like, this product here, I want to keep. This product, well, maybe not, because it's not selling so great. Or I could look at months and I could see, well, March, for some reason, we were selling a lot of different varieties. Why is that? So this is really great data analysis. So I'm going to go up here and again, clear rules from the entire sheet. I'm going to reselect. So I will go back to conditional formatting, and instead of doing comparisons, you understand how these are all working. I'm going to go to top and bottom rules. This is pretty cool. So I'm going to look for, let's say, the top 10 items. Now, it doesn't have to be 10. I could make that 12 or 8, whatever. So let me bring that down to 8, the top 8, and I'm going to make that green. Click OK, and I can see these are the top 8 sellers, and I'm going to leave it selected, top and bottom rules, and this time I'm going to choose bottom. And also instead of 10, I'm going to reduce that to 8. I'm going to leave that as filled with red, click OK, and now I can see on the same sheet which are the 8 highest values and which are the 8 lowest values. Let me clear that again. And I'll clear from the entire sheet, reselect it, and let me go back to conditional formatting, back to top and bottom rules, and you notice that there are averages. So I could do something like find all of the cells that are above average. And I can make that filled with green, click OK. And maybe if I want the others that are below average, I can select those, but maybe not necessary because you can see them without putting color in them. So this is all great, but wait, there's more. You can apply your own custom rules. Let me go and clear all of these here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to column H and I'm going to put in a total. Just like that. And there's several ways to do it, but maybe I'll just grab the sum tool like that and double click. So now I have what the total is for each one. Now, what I want to do here is I want to find, and let's extend that, I want to look for any total that is, let's say, 3,500 or higher. And when I find that, I want the corresponding product name to be highlighted. So since it's the product name that I want highlighted, it's the product name that I need to select. I'm only going to do this once, so I don't need to create a range name. I'm just going to Control-Shift down arrow to select all that. Now I go back to conditional formatting, and this time I'm going to choose New Rule. And see, there's several different ways of doing it, and most of these kind of duplicate what is already in the menu, so we don't have to do that. But I'm going to choose this, use a formula to determine which cells to format. This looks a little confusing. There's lines all over the place and they're blank. It's hard to see what's going on. So see this one here, that little arrow, I'm going to click there, and I'm going to put in an Excel formula. Now this formula needs to be true or false. So I need to say, is something true? If there's a value that I'm looking for, if that's true, go and format it. Now let me move this out of the way for a second, because you see the very first total there is cell H5. That occupies a special place. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to say equals H5 wherever H5 is greater than or equal to 3,500. So even though I'm putting in H5, Excel is going to understand to look also at H6, H7, and all the way down. Now, if I just OK this, nothing is going to happen because I haven't told it what formatting to apply. It'll find the cells, but isn't going to do anything with them. So you see, preview says no format set. So I'm going to click Format. And this throws the regular Format Cells dialog box. Now, there are some things that you cannot change with conditional formatting. I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, honestly, but like you can't change the font face. You can't change the font size. You can change to bold, italic, and all that. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Fill tab, and I'm going to choose like a light green. And you see there's a sample. I'll click OK. So that's what that's going to look like. Now I click OK. And there we go. So any time, like let's say these two, let me just select so you could see it. So here are totals that are 3,500 or greater, and the labels are selected. Or this one here, this is greater than or equal to 3,500, so that label is selected. Now let's go and kick this up a notch. I'm going to go and remove all of these rules. And what if I want not just the label selected, what if I want the entire row selected when I get that criterion? So this time what I'm going to do, also I don't need to create a range name because I'm only going to do this once. I'm going to select everything here below those column headers. So I've got all of the product labels selected and all of the numbers. Back to conditional formatting, back to new rule, and again, use a formula to determine which cells to format. So here where it says format cells where this formula is true, I'm going to do almost the same that I did, but what I'm going to say is equals, now I'm not just going to put in H5, I have to make this a mixed reference, a partially absolute reference. I'm going to say where $H5 is greater than or equal to 3,500. And now I'll go back to Format, Fill, and I'll use that same light green and click OK. So wherever this finds not just H5, but the entire row, whatever row that happens to be, row 6, 7, 8, because you notice I'm leaving the row as relative and not absolute, it'll fill with that color. So I click OK, and there we go. So again, here are totals that are greater than or equal to 3,500, and now we have that entire row selected. So as long as you put a true-false statement in that box, then you can go and have it select and format whichever cells that adhere to that rule. Nothing says you have to apply conditional formatting to a whole range of cells like we just did. You can apply it even to a single cell on a worksheet if that's what you need. So be sure to check out my course, Excel 365 for Busy People. Until next time, my name is Bob, and this has been Between the Sheets.